forgot to get the Roma tomatoes. Ay, ay, ay. But I have to go back to Ray, so, and I'm going to. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm meeting a sister for coffee at 11. So, yeah. Wednesday going to the fish market that late, that's not good. And Thursday, let's see, what do I have? I know it's 8 o'clock. You guys are probably, what is she doing? Let's see. On Thursday, the 30th. I don't have anything. Maybe I'll go to the fish market. No, but I need to get some fish before Thursday. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's how you kind of look at your calendar and you're like, okay, how can I make this work and get everything I need to do? All right, I know it's late. If nobody shows up, that's okay. Oh. Oof. Ooh. I was so excited to find the lima bean, so I thought I would show you guys. Ooh, what is happening? I'm all tangled up with my little crossbody, and this is how I carry my keys when I go out, so I don't lose it. I know it's late, but I want you to know today's Monday, and we talked yesterday, so it's not like you missed me, right? But I decided to go to Reba Smith today because there are certain things for Friday. I know that's where I'm going to be able to find them. You know, like herbs. I can go to Ray, to my regular store, and it's hit or miss. Hola, Robin. That certain things you're not going to find, right? It's like if you have a recipe that calls for Gruyere cheese, you don't go to Ray for that. You may or may not find it, even though they're doing better with a nice little cheese little area. But that is something we all tell you. When you come to Panama, you have to know certain things you find here, certain things you find there. And you got to change your mindset that I'm retired, so I can afford to go here and there. But when she said 103, I was like, and that doesn't include, I didn't buy cheese, I didn't buy meat. Now, Reba Smith, people tell you it feels like you're at Whole Foods. Yeah. But, you know, I took my time. They had the music going, the store was busy, it's clean, and people are kind of nice and polite. I don't mind it anymore. So this is what I carried by hand, okay? This is my backpack. Of course, it wasn't heavy. And then I have a bag that said Foodie on it. Foodie is another store that has Whole Food vibes. It's much smaller, like a deli. There was a store in Orlando we used to call, is it Whole Market? They used to call it. It was really good. Girl, and then I'm going to show you. I didn't even buy a lot of things. I'm like, 103? Oh my God. But anyway, first of all, I wanted to go to Steven because I've been looking for like pillow shams for my bed. You know, you got the king size pillows, and then you know, because I have my pillows that I sleep with, you know, those are not on the bed. And then you want them because I bought a white set of comforter set, and I was looking for some pillow shams. So I went to Steven. Steven gives you Macy's vibe in terms of quality, and people are super respectful and polite there. So if you're ever concerned about customer service, you go to Steven. I've never had a bad experience there. The other places, they're just very stern, but not here. But I'm going to wash my hands. Usually whenever I come in, I wash my hands. Because you're hanging on to things on the bus. I didn't take the metro. Did I take the metro today? No, I just took the bus today. And I think that's another thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just get on the bus and show people. You wanna go to San Francisco, this is how you get there. You wanna go to Costa del Este, this is how you do it. Because the majority of us don't drive, right? And there are certain distances that you're gonna pay for an Uber. If you want to go to Costa del Este, yeah, you're gonna pay like $8, $9, $10, depending on the time of day. And the Ubers, I don't know if they're the same over there. If you get stuck in traffic, the price that you saw is not that price. They up it. I think they call it like a gas something. So you do end up paying more. So. One thing we don't have here, we don't do coupons, okay? So if you're couponer, it doesn't work. We don't, they don't do that here. Even though they would ask you, afiliada, are you affiliated? Meaning you would have had to go online and sign up, and then every time you go to check out, they ask you either for your cedula, which is your ID, or your phone number. And then I'm like, why do you ask me that? Do you give me some discount? Because you never see it. But one day I was at Ray, and they took off $20 off my bill. I guess I had accumulated something. And sometimes they'll say, acumula puntos? Are you accumulating points? Right? I know sometimes if they have some items, you know how they used to do like in Publix, I know they did that. They would say, if you have so many stickers, some stores do that. I was never into all that. I was like, give it to me. So, no, it doesn't have ruffles. It's just a plain, and that was like almost $19, so that wasn't cheap. But these are the stores. If you want nice towels, that's where you go. You don't go to Conway and Teton and get that. So it's one of those, is it like a regular pillow? Oh, yeah, it's just like a sack. All right, so, oh well. At least I'm gonna take away the brown thing and just put that over the pillows. And those are the pillows that, I'm gonna put them in the washer first. All right. So for my party, I think I told you my menu. Somebody's bringing nuts, and then I'm doing pitas, pita pockets. I'm gonna cut them in small triangle, brush them with some garlic oil, like my herb oil, put them in the oven. They become like chips. And then I'm going to make a dip. It is kind of a dip. We're going to use softened cream cheese and Greek yogurt. And then I bought some dill. I bought some capers. What else did I say I was going to put in it? It's not going to be sweet, so it's going to be savory. And then, you could just take like a small knife and then you put it on the pita, on the pita chip. And then I'm doing crostini, the same thing. Crostinis is when you take like a loaf of a day or two old French bread, and then you cut them like about 1/8 of an inch. You brush them again with the same oil, and then you put them in the oven. The crostinis typically you can do you could do guacamole, you could use for that, anything you can scoop. But I'm not one of those that's gonna buy a dip pre-made. I'm not going to do that. I need a plain panko. And these are the kind of things I go to Reba Smith because I don't have to worry. And in fact, when I was looking for it, and I asked the gentleman, No, I was looking for the panko. And then he said, oh, panko. They were out of it. And he went in there, and I waited for him. I didn't see him. And then he came, he looked for me, and then he's like, here's the panko. I'm like, oh, that's good. So panko and plain breadcrumbs. I always have to have those because when I'm cooking fish, I put a little bit of each, and then I put like some curry powder, and then sometimes I put turmeric, and then season it and use that as a breading thing, right? To coat. I don't use chicken that way, so it's usually fish. And you know, I love fish. I haven't had fish in a while. So I haven't had a lot of protein. I needed some ripe black olives. Those sometimes you have a little bit of trouble finding. And I bought some sardines. Told you I love sardines. Sometimes when I have nothing here to eat, I'll crack a couple of eggs, a couple of slices of tomatoes, and then a can of sardine. And you get your omega-3 here, so that's good to have on hand. Yeah. So my big molar bag is very useful. So this is a pattern that is typical of one of the indigenous groups. It's called the mola pattern, right? So they sell things because, you know, in the indigenous groups, they have embraced tourism to make money for their communities. Like when I was in Guatemala, there was an area outside of this huge, beautiful, gorgeous lake where they created like cooperatives. And one co-op was about honey, and they did a bunch of, they created a bunch of product, you know, skincare product, all kinds of things. So when the boat stops with a bunch of tourists, and then you go in there and they give you a story. And you know, when I was in Guatemala, I think I showed you that. And then they had another co-op when they did tunic, you know, like they weave. And the outfit that I was wearing, you've seen my pictures with the brown, they made that. It's like a, I don't know what you call it. I didn't wear it with skirt this time because it was just way too hot. All right, I needed some small plates for the snacks. And I talked about not being able to find cornstarch. So I found cornstarch. I realized not too long ago they called it maicena. So I got cornstarch. So you know, stuff like that probably gonna cost you a little bit. I bought some nutmeg. I think I was running low, and of course I do not buy nutmeg powder. I like to grate it. So I got dill, eneldo. And usually when you go to River Smith, that each one of these is about like $3. They are not cheap, okay? So that's why my bill is, and I'm like, oh. And I got some pimiento, allspice. Even though I have the allspice in powder, there is nothing like, you know, cracking it fresh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mola, I love the mola. In fact, one of the sisters upstairs, she's like, where'd you get your mola? I told her at Casco Viejo. But you see them other places, especially if they have an event. And we're getting ready to have an event, I think this coming weekend, artisanal fair. And all the artisans, when they say artisans, they mean a lot of indigenous people come and they bring everything that they make. It's like carving. They do the polleras, the guys, they have the embroidered shirts for them. And they have jewelry, they have all kinds of things. And then there is food. That's always a really nice event. I think it's a couple of days, Saturday, and Sundays at Tlapa Convention Center, the old convention center in San Francisco. I don't know if I'm going because I went a couple of times. I bought a hat there, and I'm not ready to buy another hat. I got a hat in Guatemala, and I have 2 things full of hats, so. And now, you know, if I wear a hat, it might just fall off because there's nothing to hold it. Let's see what else do I have. I found some They call them cebollinas, but this is like leeks, kind of halfway, because their green onions are really teeny, teeny, tiny, and they're full of dirt. I don't like them. So if I want to like mash them and put them as spice, I like to buy these. They're not like the leeks, they're just kind of in between. Two for $1.60. So I got perejil italiano, Italian parsley. I have cilantro. Sometimes I have a hard time finding cilantro here. And I'm like, Central America, what do you mean? Hola, auntie. Villa. Hola, ¿cómo está? From Tampa. Hey. So, I got cilantro. I got perejil, which is Italian parsley. I have eneldo, which is dill. I needed albahaca, which is basil, because I'm going to be making marinara. You cannot do marinara without fresh basil. I don't care what anybody says. And the powder stuff does not taste the same. Don't get me upset. I have fresh mint because I'm making a kale salad that is like a Mediterranean salad with the cucumbers and the olives and the capers, and you need good fresh mint for that. Always. Always. Rosemary. Romero. So good. Now you see how crazy I get with herbs? And then tomillo, thyme. Sometimes I would go, and I don't want to be going to here, and there. I don't have time nor the energy. So sometimes I spend the money because I get everything there. So I knew my herbs, that's where I was going to find them. Okay? Yes, there is culantro. Culantro is a lot more abundant here. And, I like it for some things, but I like regulars. I love cilantro better than culantro. That's just me. But culantro is more pungent. And it tends to be cheaper. And then whenever I go to Reba Smith, I always raid whatever they have with okra. You see, it's not that good, but I like the way they are because they're not the big ones. So, okra is cheap there. $1.58, more expensive in the States. Oh, how did she scan that? There's no price. Well, that's interesting. Usually when you don't find the price, you go to the desk, there's somebody there to wait for you. And like this one, there was no price on it. And I just took it there, and then he's got a scale and put a sticker on it. You can open this. If you wanted 5 of these, you can open it, put the 5 in the bag, take it to the thing, he'll weigh it, and I'm like, people didn't spoil. Sometimes you go there, you have 5, 10 bags open. With like peppers, they take one, and they open the package. I don't know. And they had arugula. I'm crazy about arugula. And I think I'm going to put arugula in my kale salad just because I want to. And jalapeno. I love jalapeno. $1.46. That's usually one place I can find jalapeno. Usually if I go to Ray, I'm not going to find it. Ray, the tomillo, the thyme, hit or miss. Usually you can find rosemary. This one is hit or miss, the fresh mint. They usually have parsley, always have cilantro or culantro, but the Italian parsley, maybe not. And the cilantro, sometimes I can't find it anywhere. And if I can, I'm like, okay, whatever. I had taken a pack of culantro because I wasn't sure I was going to find cilantro. I was going to use that. And the culantro I used to make a piece. If you want to put the green onion, the culantro, the garlic, a bit of oil and not pepper. Some people put green onion. You make like a sofrito, and then it becomes the base. When you put your oil and then you put a scoop of that, the smell, and your food is guaranteed to taste good. I was out of sesame oil, so I found my sesame oil. Every little thing like that is about $4 or $5 a piece. That's why my bill is high. So I'm not going to be going there for a while. But I went to to the frozen section. What I was looking for, you know how sometimes when you have a party, you make a punch with like 7-Up or what's the other one? Ginger ale. And then you buy this, I don't know what they used to call it for you, called rainbow ice cream with different colors. And then you mix it in there and then it makes a nice punch. That's what I was thinking of doing because we always have wine and sangria. And I was like, let's do something different. So I went there looking for that. Smell of vision would be great when Maggie's cooking on Sunday. But, so I went and I looked and I didn't see it. And that's when I said, okay, let me just kind of browse around because listen, usually when I go shopping like that, this is like an outing for me. Where people go to spend money, go buy shop and clothes, I go to the food store. Or if I go to Merca Panama, where they have like the humongous, farmers market and the colors, and the smell and the activity. Oh my God, I could spend the day there. But it's usually so hot and I haven't been going there because I'm like, it is super hot, y'all. One of my students is in town. She's like, oh my God, I should have bought more clothes. I didn't think I was going to sweat so much. I'm like, who told you to go on outing out there in this, in the middle of the day? I would have told you don't do it. That's why I don't walk in the morning. I don't walk now because it's just too hot. Yes. Sherbet, yes. They didn't have it. So tomorrow I'm going to meet the sister at Albrook and I'm going to go to Super 99 and see. Now where I get it, will I be able to make it home? Will it make it home instead of melting and making this mess? I don't have a cooler, so maybe I got to take an Uber then. But the thing is, we take an Uber, it doesn't matter. If you get caught in traffic, Uber or not, you're not moving, okay? You're not moving. But look what I found. I was dancing in the aisle. This is the second time in 3.5 years that I was able to see baby lima bean, like any kind of lima bean, okay? And Big Sweet, I was like, oh, and they had 4 bags. I almost took all 4, but then I know my fridge, my little freezer, I don't have room to put other things. But I'm like, oh my God, Hercules. One day, it was around the holiday, that's so nice there. And I said, yes. And I said, you don't have Pepperidge Farm pastry sheets, right? Because I make some dessert, filling with stuff, and then you brush it with the egg white, pop it in the oven, and they puff up. Oh, the best thing. So he's like, what? So, of course, I take my phone, take a picture, and I said, it says you have it. He said, no, we don't have it. I said, you need to order it for us because we want it. And the next time I got there, I saw it. And I was like, oh, thank you. So I looked for him, he's the manager in the area. I'm like, thank you so much. He said, yeah, you told me to get it. And everybody's been buying it. So one day I went there and I'm like, how come you don't have lima beans? Maybe 2 years ago. And I'll again take a picture and show him. He's like, oh, because they have edamame. They have plenty of edamame. But because, edamame is much bigger, it looks a lot like lima bean. And then I was like, no, you need to get that. So again, I went back and we had it, but that was it. That's why I call it, now you see it, now you don't. So today I saw it, I was like, oh. So next week, this weekend, we said we we're gonna cook the turkey wings. I think this is gonna be a good, to put some lima bean with all our veggies with the wings. Yum, yum, yum. I was so excited. And I put some, Mami means peanuts. And pasas means raisins, right? So I always like to get, it says mani saldado, that means salted, because salt is sal, S-A-L. Whenever you say ado, that means it's like an adjective, something that happens. It's like salted peanut with raisin. Mani saldado con pasas. I love that. But I've been good though. I haven't had any plantain chips and no croissants. I'm just not even, tempted. So I'm doing good. When there's a will, there's a way. So in Panama, we are flooded with these, right? Because they're not going to give you plastic bags. And if you forget your bag, they're going to say, bolsas, any bolsas? Bolsas means bag. And then they'll give you one. They're like 22 cents. But as much as we shop, every single one of us we have a drawer full. And you know how we hate it? We go out there and we didn't bring one, so we got to get another one. So I have a drawer full of these bags. So let's see, did I put anything in this one? Because, I was spreading the weight around because I didn't want to carry a lot of heavy stuff on my back. And that's why, the sister said, Maggie, you want to do something to your back? I'm like, no, sis, I'm good. Because remember, in this bag that I always have, in addition to my little crossbody, but I do have other bags. If I'm going to be in an Uber, I can wear other bags. But when I'm going to be among the people, that's what I have. And my Metro card, I have 2 of them. They're always here, right? So, seems to be working for me. And then when I'm walking, depending on where I am, if I'm somewhere that's a little suspect, this goes right in here. It doesn't even show that I'm carrying anything, okay? All right. Ale, what else do we have? Yep. So in there I have my umbrella, my sweat rag, my hand sanitizer, some wipes, and I have a fan. I need to invest in one of those fans that you can charge with a USB, but I'm just so old-fashioned. I still have the old fan. And the ladies have things that they put around their neck. They're just fancy. I'm not that fancy yet. But I remember when I was looking for a sturdy backpack. And I went to the store and they were like $60 for a backpack. I'm like, oh no, Maggie's not buying that. And I remember going to Teton and I bought this for like $19.99. And look at it. I put it in the washer, I've washed it, and it has endured the test of time. Then I needed Worcestershire sauce. I think that was like $6. I needed some Dijon mustard, and I want the best. They had some other brand, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I know Maggie, yes, Dijon mustard, good stuff. Oh, that's what I'm gonna put in my dip, artichokes. Artichokes with capers and the dill, ooh, it's gonna be good. With the cream cheese and the Greek yogurt. Remember I told you I could get 3 tubs of Greek yogurt for like, is it $13.50? But it's made by a company that is local called Lacteo San Miguel in La Chorrera, who makes good garbage bag, better than the lentil I suggested. Oh, you mean the lima bean? Yes. Lentils, it's kind of an acquired taste for me because it cooks so fast that many times I feel like it makes like a soupy mess. And then the colors, even when I buy the red lentils, it turned into, oh, Grey Poupon, yes. Oh, they make, you say they make garbage bags, these folks? Wow. I know. Do you have any Grey Poupon? I think I've seen Grey Poupon. But a lot of time you're paying for the name where you can have. But this one, I have the grainy mustard with them, and I have the regular Dijon. See? Because I like to put the grainy in salad dressing. And then they have the smooth one. And we even had to make this in culinary school. I'm like, who wants to be making mustard? Come on. Yep, I had gone to a Jewish store and Bowl and Basket made Dijon mustard, but I don't like the consistency and no. So the Greek yogurt, I bought the nuts because I'm not putting the honey in it, so I can put some nuts and I can eat it like that. But I'm telling you, I had to prove them to see if the Greek yogurt tasted pretty good. Now, it's not the same as whatever brand we use at home, but it is a close second. The brand that Reba Smith makes, I do not like it. But this is smooth, the texture is good, and I just sprinkled some cinnamon. Very good. And they deliver it. They just said, put it in the fridge. They just give you 3 of these. And I can just pay with my app. Very easy. And I was, yesterday when they came with it, and I was like, I wonder if I can ask them to deliver some ricotta cheese. Because ricotta cheese is something that sometimes you can't find a good brand, right? And I love ricotta. Especially when you're making lasagna, right? Which I don't very rarely make because I don't eat pasta like that. All right. And then I needed coffee, so that's why my bill is so high. I don't know if I told you, I ran out of my instant coffee, and I wanted Duran is a very well-known brand, and I like the taste. And then a friend of mine had given me, as she was leaving, she gave me the rest of this brand, Café Sello Rojo, and it's really good. So I think this is like $4 something, and this is like $7. They're not cheap. But you know what I did not buy today? I did not buy any of my evaporated milk. I have started drinking the coffee black. When I say black, I do have Splenda. Yeah, I'm still working on the no sugar. I can't do it. But I needed some sponge. And they had capers. They were kind of very affordable. So I got Italica. Alcaparas. That's how they say capers. Alcaparas. And I think I told you that for the olive, they call them aceituna. So I bought 2 of these. I love putting these in salad or even in salad dressings. So good. So good. Alcaparas. Alcaparas. I gotta tell my students that. I got a red onion. That's gonna go in my kale salad. I got more nuts. And I bought these small seedless pepinos. Pepinos is cucumber. And they had the small ones. And that's gonna go into the salad too. Ooh. I love cucumbers, I really do. You know what I don't see here? I can't find the English one. You know, the real long ones? I haven't been able to find that anywhere here. I love those in salad the most. The regular cucumbers, I like to put them in smoothies. You know, they're very, and in salad. Yeah, big grocery haul today, but this is cute. But remember, I'm having a party until on Friday. My friend took something off of me. She said, I'll make the wings. So she's going to make the wings. So I have to go get the fish. I'm making some fish fillets. I'm making blackened fillets, and I'm making turmeric and curry fillets. And then I got two bags of white quinoa. They were on sale for like $3.50. So I'm going to make the multicolored quinoa because I have some black quinoa and some red quinoa. like I did on Sunday. Did you guys see the thing on Sunday when I did the salmon? God, that was good. Usually some sisters would say, I'll take some off of you, but this time nobody said, so I ate it all. It was so good. So good. But if I had gone to, so I had my list, right? And I said, there are certain things I looked at, and I'm like, no, I think, because I need like a big thing of olive oil. And I looked at it, it was like almost $30, and I'm like, no. If I go to Ray, I can find it, you know, better. And they usually have like, they usually have, you know, some kind of sales and take $1 off here and there. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get that there. So remember, so I still have to get the French bread. I still need to get the queso blanco, which is the cream cheese, because the Philadelphia brand, whoo, expensive. Again, at Reba, I saw a big bushel of cauliflower. But I'm like, I know it's gonna be pricey. $7, $8 a piece. I'm like, no, I'm not buying it. We don't need it. And the pita bread, I may not be able to find the whole grain sometimes, but I'll do the white, that's not a problem. Do the crostini. And I gotta get the kale also from Ray. We have the arugula. Oh, and I have to get the, I gotta put it on my list. I need to get the cherry tomatoes. Tomate cherry. Cherry tomatoes. We need extra virgin olive oil. And I need another thing of butter. Cherry tomatoes. And of course, my friends, you know, when we do the Fridays at Maggie's, once I get the RSVP, I think we're gonna have about 20. So, and then they'll say, what can I bring? And then I look at my menu, and then I said, okay, I need, you know, I just kind of write what I would like. And let me tell you, like, I'll bring this, I'll bring that. They're always fighting over what to bring. So we're good. Somebody's bringing the plates. My sister said, oh, I'll come and help you. She said, I'll be there at 12 o'clock. She's coming at 12. The party's at 4. It will help me. Hey. And she always brings wine. She knows I love Riesling. So she said, I'll be there with the wine. And I did ask for the, what is it? The ginger ale. So she said she's bringing it, but I got to find that sherbet. So I still have some things on my list. The pita bread, I got the sponge, I got the small plates. French bread, EVOO. One of my sisters has a birthday on Wednesday, and I'm going to make something for her. So I don't want to say it in case she's watching, because I don't want to ruin the surprise. Somebody's bringing almonds, pecans, which we're going to glaze with some little bit of brown sugar, which I have enough. The cream cheese, kale. Oh, potatoes. I got to get potatoes because we're doing roasted potatoes. Cherry tomatoes. Bell peppers. Oh, we need the bell peppers for the ratatouille. And for ratatouille, we need the bell peppers, and then we need berenjena, aubergine, which is the eggplant. I wanted to consider the Japanese eggplant, and today they had them at Reba, and they were soft. And I'm like, no bueno. So I'm gonna get the regular. So, and I need Roma tomatoes too, because that's what I need to make the marinara. Oh. Roma tomatoes, bell peppers, eggplant, apples and figs. Why do I have that there? We're not doing anything with the apples and then all the dessert. Somebody signed up. We're gonna have apple pie. We're gonna have the sisters making a pineapple upside down cake. Somebody's bringing a pound cake. And then somebody's bringing fresh fruit. We always have fresh fruit. And we have nuts. We're not gonna do the cheese board. Cheese is too expensive for me. So I get the fish from San Felipe and on the other side, you know, where I get the eggplant and the bell peppers, they have a place where they sell spices and stuff. So I know I can get the turmeric because look at this. You can get oregano is very abundant here. So I can get this full of oregano for $1. So I'm gonna go there and get the turmeric. And I said yellow squash. What do I mean yellow squash? I'm not gonna put that in the salad. And then with the almonds, the slivered almonds, I had someone bring that. I'm going to toast it and put it on the side. Usually I like the almonds in with the quinoa because I'm going to be cooking the multicolored quinoa, right? And then we're going to do like cilantro. It's like doing cilantro rice, but then you chop the fresh cilantro into the cooked quinoa. Well, maybe not. Some people don't like cilantro like I do. No, we're not doing that. And then everything, all the nuts are going to be on the side, and people can add if they want, because, you know, some people may be allergic. I was going to do, see, I forgot that. One of the dessert I said was going to be like a peach. It's not a cobbler. It's like I make the dough, and the dough's got lots of butter and Crisco, flaky, right? And then I use my big pie pan. It's not my bundt pan. I have a bundt pan. And I don't bake that much. But sometimes I like to have these here. If I want to make a frittata, I can use those. Sometimes I make the pie. But I was shopping one time and I found this. Look at this beauty. You can do, I used to do quiche Lorraine in this, but I'm going to be good and not introduce my people to quiche Lorraine. That is too deadly. It is just heavy. I'd have to get bacon, which is super expensive, and cream and eggs. No. But then again, I saw this. It's not really like a bundt pan, but if you have the batter in here and then you do this, you're going to have this on top. How lovely is that? So it's like when you do the crust with the graham crackers, you know, and the butter and the nuts, and then you put the batter in here, you bake it, and then you flip it, and then you have all this. You're like a nice coffee cake. This would be for a coffee cake. But since I'm just giving up on all this stuff, because I do not want to have diabetes like my aunties. No, we're not doing that. Not on my watch. All right. Woo. So, but I was so excited. I just wanted to show you this lima beans. You just don't understand. I love lima beans. And I think with turkey wings, it's going to be really good. Yes, you could make a big quiche. I can make the quiche in the smaller one too. But I used to make the quiche Lorraine. Oh my God, it is so good, but so deadly, heavy. And you know, at the restaurant, people, when I made it, it went fast. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, but that is not good for you. And it's so good. Woo. Yes. All right, sisters. Sorry to come up and bring myself on you so late. But anyway. So I think maybe, you know, I forget when I'm cooking for such a large group that it kind of reminds me of Thanksgiving. I used to have like 24 people around the table for Thanksgiving. And then one year I said, okay, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm not doing it again. So I haven't done it in a while. But it's so fun. We're going to have trivia. One sister returned from Morocco. And I started this trivia thing at these parties, and we've been learning a lot about, you know, Panama, you know, history, and, you know, and the people who are new, they're so like it because they're like, oh, thank you for telling us all this about Panama. You know, the political process, talking about that we had a woman president and the story behind that, and we had another woman vice president. I mean, they're way ahead of us in terms of gender equality, right? And you know, there's some like little trivia about Panama, and you know, knowing the things um, to look for, and you know, the little quirks. It's important to know that. So she's gonna do the trivia about Morocco, and she's like, "Oh, go ahead and brush up your French because we're gonna do some French." I'm like, "Oh," and then she's like, "I need a table for gift." She's gonna give prizes. I'm like, I don't think I should be playing as a hostess right now. I shouldn't be getting, you know how everybody loves to get a little gift, and I don't usually get gifts. Um, and then the lady who does the line dancing is gonna be here, so it's gonna be popping, right? And I said, okay, I'll just take the pictures because I have two left feet. I'm just not good with the dancing. But we have some core people who are into the line dancing, and you know they have like My Happy Senior. Do you guys see them? I think they're out of Chicago, or is it Texas? And you should see the sisters. The sisters, I mean, even if they're older, they know all the steps. And I mean, I get myself all twisted and confused. I don't know if my foot should go to the right, the left. No bueno. I said, okay, that's all right. The Lord has gifted me in other ways. Dancing's not one of them. All right, ladies. Thank you. Yeah, this little dress. You see how it's just, you gotta breathe in this weather. And then I was gonna write something about my sandals. You remember I got these sandals at Payless. Me and my big feet. But I was walking from the bus stop. There are 2 blocks. Not dangerous at all. Very well lit. And I kept saying, boy, I am so glad I found these sandals. You know, they are not flat. I cannot do flat because I walk on my heels. And if I use really flat, then my back and my legs start hurting. But these shoes have this little bit of heel. And it's like walking on air. They're just so comfortable. At least I'm able to show my toes once in a while, which I don't like to do because I just don't like I don't have pretty feet at all. But in this heat, it's kind of nice not having to wear the tennis shoes all the time. Although if it's raining really hard, I would not wear that because you don't want your feet to get in rainwater. No, that's a no bueno. Right? So I went back to Payless the other day, and I told myself, I said, I'm gonna get a black one, I'm gonna get a beige one. This is blue, like denim, right? And, oh, you mean the dress? The dress I got here, yeah. Where did I get that? I think there's a store called El Campeon. Yes, El Campeon has a nice women section. And usually I'll go, but it's so far back, away from the other stores. But it's in the area where I have to go there to bank. So usually I'll stop, and you can find good bras for like $4 or $5. What else do I get there? Or I'll find some dresses like that, like some muumuus to wear during the day where you could breathe. Yes, you can find that, and very, very, very reasonable. So, but when I went to Payless and I told her, she's like, "Oh, they don't make these anymore." And I'm like, "Oh," but I did find some that because I need that little heel. I don't need anything this high. But I found something like a brown, and I wore it. I wore them to the party last week, and they just the right height. You get to a certain age, it's about being comfortable. I mean, I don't want anything that's gonna hurt my feet. That's why when I first got here, I have like I was looking for the tennis shoes, but what happened with the tennis shoes, the front of the tennis shoes is like this. And I needed more room for my toes. So now I know when I'm looking for tennis shoes to make sure the front is a little bit, slanted and pointed. The things that you learn, right? Because as you get older, You know, I don't want corn, I don't want bunion, I don't want any of those. So let my feet go. Let my people go. Let them breathe. So that's why I love these shoes. I put them on and I'm like, oh, they're so comfortable. You know, you get to be a certain age, you do not. A moo dinner. Yeah, that might be a good thing. Last time it was supposed to be hat. And then the lady who suggested it wasn't there. Yeah, we should. Not pajamas because people can't get into their Uber in and out in pajamas. Yeah, I think the moo could work. You know, they would crank it up and make it sexy. These sisters here, they're very chic. They're very chic. Yep. All right, ladies. It's almost 9. Thank you so much for hanging with me. You know, guys, I love you. I will see you on Friday. Hopefully, I remember to just do some snippets, of course. Again, I have to respect my guests' privacy. Not everybody wants to be in those shots, you know, when I'm out there like that. Many of them don't want that. So it's not, I'll show the food, you know, when I'm preparing it. But again, I'm going to have a helper from 12 o'clock on. So it's always good, the strategy, you know, what do you cook first? But you know, this dinner is not going to be difficult because it is Mediterranean. Couscous cooks in no time. The fish, I'm going to have to start on the fish first, put it in a pan, leave it, and then when it's time for people to come, just warm it up again. Yeah. But in the ratatouille also can be cooked in the morning and then warmed up in the afternoon. I'll do that. And I'm already making my salad dressing for the kale salad, so gonna be good. All right, guys. Thank you again. Have a good night. I will talk to you soon. Au revoir. Bye bye.